What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, try and work up through the ranks and through the teams, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2014, and then challenge for the championship in that season. We are here, though, at the Brazilian Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the F1 2010 season, and oh my word, has this season just flown by. We have had such a great season. I think it's 3 race wins, a few podiums, and quite a few top 5 finishes. So we've had a really, really good season in this F1 2010. Quite surprising, seeing as we are driving for Virgin Racing. And having a look at the standings before we start today's episode, we're on 141 points. We, unfortunately, can't get a drive for Force India next season, as the top 3 teams are a little bit too far ahead of us for us to catch. Lewis Hamilton seems unlikely to catch as well, but we'll see what we can do in the next 2 races. And it looks unlikely that Vitaly Petrov or Jenson Button will be able to catch us up in the standings as well. But remember, anything can happen in F1. And to be fair, it usually does. So we'll be a little bit aware of what those guys can do behind us. But hopefully we can hold on to that 5th place and try and get a Williams seat for F1 2010. But without any further ado, let's head over to the penultimate round of the F1 2010 season. It is, of course, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Here we go then, 1 shot qualifying in this Brazilian Grand Prix, and straight away they put me right behind Fernando Alonso or Felipe Massa coming into pits. So that's going to compromise my run down in towards turn 1. I'm not too sure on the braking distances in towards turn 1. It seems like it was okay. The tighter version of turn 2 and turn 3, because they did change the circuit a little bit. Actually, no, I'm not too sure if it's the tight. I think it might be not as tight. I'm not 100% sure. Let me know in the comments below whether I'm right or wrong on that one. Braking on the 100-meter board. And yeah, that seems like it's good. That seems like the 2016 braking zones are okay for this circuit. Right, so far so good on this lap. Coming into the final corner now. Can we nail this one? Yes, we can. And down towards the line. The long start finish straight all the way. It doesn't really count as any corners because you take them at flat out and you don't really have to think about them too much. But down towards the line, going to cut across this obviously, and then down towards the line. What is the time going to be here? It's a 1:11. Is P9 at the moment. That's going to be us for a 1-shot qualifying session though, and let's see whether we stay there. And we do. 9th position in this penultimate qualifying session of the season. What a fantastic result, beating Nico Rosberg, which we need to. Unfortunately losing out to Jenson Button, but we are beating Vitaly Petrov, which is all good. Sebastian Vettel, he got pole position by 66 thousandths of a second over Lewis Hamilton. Of course, Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso are all battling for the championship still going into the final 2 rounds. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen to those 4 guys. But starting in P9, pretty decent session. I've got my teammate way down the back of the field. There's no real surprise there. But what can we do from P9 on the grid? Can we get some more points in the penultimate round of the F1 2010 season? Let's find out as we head over to the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's race day here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. The sun is shining outside and we are going to be having to start on the option tyres. Yes, we have to start on the option tyres. We cannot change, so let's not even worry about that. I haven't actually focused too much on the teammate battle over this season. I actually forgot about this. Let's have a look at this and let's see how it's going. So, Lucas di Grassi has outraced me 4 times this season. I've got 4 podiums in my F1 2010 season. I've outqualified him 13 times. He's outqualified me 5, so he's not done too badly on that front. And fastest laps, I've got 10. He's got 7. I've got 141 championship points. He's got 2. So, yeah, he's not really doing too well this season against me. To be fair, he's outqualified. I'm quite surprised by that one. And the outrace. That's not too bad. But, you know, we'd be hoping to try and increase that over the last 2 races and make it 15-4 and 14-5 as well, and try and increase the fastest lap ones and maybe get some more podiums along the way. Let's just increase all of them. Let's just absolutely smash them out the park. But without any further ado, nothing else to talk about, so let's head down to the track and get today's race underway. It is Sebastian Vettel who lines up in pole position for the penultimate round of the F1 2010 season. We've got Lewis Hamilton alongside him in 2nd. I am in 9th, and my teammate Lucas di Grassi is at the back of the field in 24th position. Sorry, so disappointing session for him, but it's 5 red lights, and it is lights out, and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. A decent start off the line, but unfortunately, as per usual, everybody just shoots away from me, and I'm not too sure how to fix up. I got the inside of Michael Schumacher, And we are already up into a decent position in between the McLaren. Oh, I've squeezed him off the track. But he's still okay. Okay, I'm sorry about that, JB. What are these two doing? Lewis Hamilton and Mark Webber all over the place as we go through turn 3. I will take those positions, boys. Thank you very much. We go down in towards turn 4, side by side with Mark Webber, just about keeping it on the circuit. And there we go. And they're still batting away, pushing each other, just wiggling the wheel, trying to kick out at each other as much as they possibly can. And I do not mind that. I'm holding on to P2 at the moment. And what a fantastic start to the race this has been. Can we get Sebastian Vettel? I'm not too sure about that one. We'll wait and see as the lap develops. But I feel like P2 is the best that we're going to get at the moment. Okay, then ending the first lap here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. I've got a slight lead over Mark Webber at this stage of the race. Not doing too badly at the moment. How's our braking down towards turn 1? Very poor. Very poor. Okay, we need to sort that out over the next couple of laps. But Sebastian Vettel driving off into the distance, driving off into the sunset to probably go on to win this race. Unless he pits early and goes for the 2-stopper. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. But Sebastian Vettel currently leading the way. I have got Mark Webber all over the back of me at the moment. Although he has dropped off a little bit through that corner, so it looks like quite quick towards the end of the lap. But he is all over my tail throughout the rest of it. Right, so after 3 laps of this Brazilian Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel now has an 8-second lead. An 8-second lead over myself. That just shows you how poor I really am at this Brazilian... Well, it's not really how poor. It just shows you how good the Red Bulls are and how lucky I was at the start to get up above most of those drivers. Because I'm very, very lucky to be in this second place right now, ahead of Mark Webber and Lewis Hamilton. But then if you look behind us, there is a gap behind Fernando Alonso in 4th and Felipe Massa, I believe, is in 5th. So we're not doing too badly in this race. It's just a case of, you know, Sebastian Vettel is pretty decent on this game. Okay, the tyres are looking bad. I believe I'm going to be coming into the next lap anyway. So I'm going to come into the pits now. 1 lap earlier. We have got a few drivers come into the pits as well. But I believe that's Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, which I believe I am correct. If I can get out, okay, Sebastian Vettel comes into the pits as well. If I can hopefully have a good pit stop, luckily we're right at the end. So as long as Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton don't come down now, go, yes, okay. We haven't been held up by either the McLaren or the Red Bull driver. Please say you take control. I do not want to take control through this pit lane exit. We're all good at the moment. Out of the pits. Who's that on my right-hand side? Is that somebody done the undercut on me? Yeah, Jenson Button has done the undercut. I believe he will have to come into the pits again in this race. But for now, he has done the undercut and he has got out ahead of me. So well done to JB. I'm going to tell the team that I do not need to come into the pits. And I'm going to try and catch up and try and put in the best lap I possibly can, because Mark Webber will be in the pits on this lap. Right, so the moment of truth. Where are we going to come out in terms of Mark Webber? Have we got the job done on him? Or was the overcut better for Mark Webber? There's more drivers coming to pits at the moment. We're going to break down in towards turn 1. Take it nice and easy. Nice and easy. Right, power down. Let's go. Go, 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 go. I think Mark Webber is going to come out ahead of us. I'm not too sure. Is that Jenson Button I'm seeing on the minimap? Yes, it is. Have I come out ahead of Mark Webber? I'm not entirely sure at the moment. In all honesty, I'm not actually entirely sure whether I've come out ahead of Mark Webber or not. He has come into the pits, so I assume I have come out ahead of him. Okay, we've got another driver in the pits at the moment. Kamui Kobayashi into the pits. That promotes me up into P5. Pretty decent race still, up in P5. We're not too disappointed or disheartened with that. I mean, we started in 9th place, we're up in P5, so it's still a really decent job. Jenson Button still ahead of us in P4. And as he still has to make another pit stop, I believe, we should be able to get him later on in the race. Plus, De La Rosa is leading this race at the moment, and he definitely has to make a pit stop. So, yeah, I should be up into a podium position come the end of the pit stop phase. Jenson Button's going on the attack of someone else, so I can only imagine that that is another back marker that's gone primes at the start. And those two guys have come into the pits. Yes, so it was Jenson Button, and I'm not too sure who the other one was. Karun Chandok into the pits here on lap 9 out of 14. I've completely overshot turn 1, which is a little bit embarrassing. But I'm onto the podium positions once again. De La Rosa still leads the way at the moment, but he still needs to make a pit stop. So I should be out in the lead after De La Rosa. Not in the lead, sorry. It should be out in second place after De La Rosa comes into the pits. Surely De La Rosa has to be coming into pits now. And just as I say that, there he is. Into the pits here on lap 11 of this 14-lap race. And I move up into P2 with Lewis Hamilton right on my tail. Lewis Hamilton is pushing hard to try and stay on the podium. And De La Rosa is actually going to come out behind Nico Rosberg in P5. Wow, what a race De La Rosa's having. Here we go then. One lap separates us from being crowned a Williams seat for next season. This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. The F1 2010 season. I came into the season hoping to try and maybe scrape a P11 and get a Lotus seat for F1 2011. Did not imagine that I would get like 3 race wins, or is it 4? No, I think it's 3 race wins, a load of podiums, a load of top 5 finishes, a couple of pole positions as well. I was not expecting that coming into this season. But what an incredible season it has been. As I run it wide there and making a few mistakes, but we're still holding on ahead of Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. But what an incredible season this has been. If we can just hold on for a few more corners. Made a little mistake there, running a little bit too deep. One more proper corner left to go in this race. Can we do it? Can we get second place in the Brazilian Grand Prix? Round the final proper corner. It's flat out all the way to the start-finish line now. Sebastian Vettel is going to be crowned today's race winner. There he is. Sebastian Vettel wins today's Brazilian Grand Prix. But we don't care about that. It's a second place at the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's another podium to add to our 4 we've already had this season. 5 podiums for the F1 2010 season with 1 more race left to go. And that confirms it. A Williams seat for F1 2010. Unbelievable. Unbelievable scenes here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. What a race. What a season it has been here in the Rags to Riches, the sequel. But Sebastian Vettel is today's race winner with myself in second. 7 seconds off the pace of Sebastian Vettel. Really struggled in the first phase of the race, but it seemed like when we were both on the primes, I was able to match the laps that he was doing. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 3rd, with Nico Rosberg 4th, Pedro De La Rosa 5th, Rubens Barrichello in 6th, Fernando Alonso way down in 7th, with Jenson Button 8th, Sebastian Buemi 9th, and Vitaly Petrov getting the final championship points here today, with Schumacher just missing out. So did Mark Webber missing out on points here today. That surely puts him out of the championship running, and Felipe Massa down in 17th place as well. My teammate Lucas Grassi finishing in 20th at the end of the day. Right, let's have a look at how this ends the driver's standings going into the final race of the season. Sebastian Vettel has a 25-point gap exactly, I believe that is. No, 24-point gap over Fernando Alonso going into the final race of the season. But if Alonso wins and Sebastian Vettel doesn't score any points, which has happened before, I mean, look at Mark Webber, didn't score any points here today. If that happens at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, then Fernando Alonso will win the championship. But it's looking like history is going to repeat itself. So we'll be interested. Is it? No, hang on. Is it? It's 24, isn't it? Yeah, it's 24 points. Is it? Nope, sorry, it's 14. It's 14 points separate those two going into the final race. So, I mean, Sebastian Vettel doesn't have to finish outside the points. He can finish, you know, bottom 7. And it still won't win the championship if Fernando Alonso wins. But we're on 159 points now. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get Lewis Hamilton. But 5th place is still a fantastic result if we can hold on to it. 1 more race left to go. Nico Rosberg is currently 23 points behind us. So, just like what I've said with Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso, if Rosberg wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and we finish in the bottom, it's 3 points, it's 23 points, so I need a 2-point gap. So, it would be 10th or lower because we have got more race wins than him this season. So, 10th or lower and Rosberg wins the race, then we will finish in 6th place. But it doesn't matter because we have solidified our Williams seat for F1 2011, which is absolutely amazing. It looks like the Rags to Riches, the sequel, is going to be repeating itself as we will be going to Williams once again for F1 2011, just like what happened in the first time of the Rags to Riches. So, without any further ado, actually we need to look at the Constructors' standings, which we have now jumped above Renault thanks to that great result. We are now 6 points ahead of Renault in the standings. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get Mercedes in the Constructors, but that's not really too much of a big deal. I mean, Constructors doesn't mean anything in this series. It's just nice to maybe be above, be as high up as we possibly can. But most of those points come from me, apart from 2 from Lucas de Grassi. But we've gone above Renault. And that is it for today's Brazilian Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. On the podium again for the 5th time this season. Was not expecting this. Was not expecting this coming into the Rags to Riches as a sequel the first season. 5 podiums, and it's only... We haven't even finished F1 2010. We've still got 1 race left to go. But did you expect interest from the bigger teams? Do you expect... Yeah. Of course I do. I'm really concentrating on each race. I'm always open to offers. Yeah, of course I am. I'd love an offer from a big team, but unfortunately that's not going to happen because I'm guaranteed a Williams seat for next season. Are you pleased with today's result? The situation looks better after this race weekend. I can't fault a thing. A perfect weekend indeed. I think it's inevitable that we'll overtake him. I'm not too sure what that's referencing, but I mean, I can't fault a thing. A perfect weekend indeed. Great qualifying, great start, and a great race to hold on to P2. And finally, was the car as good as it looked today? It was fine, to be fair. The car was fine. I didn't feel any back-end sliding at all. I didn't feel any of that we've had in recent weeks. And we had the pace compared to South Korea. So there was very little risk in me pushing the car. We had a pretty normal race today. It felt like I was pushing it all the way. I was pushing the car all the way. I don't know whether that's in reference what I'm thinking it means the wrong thing there. But I was pushing the car all the way. So, yeah, it was a really, really nice race. What a race then at the Brazilian Grand Prix, and it means so much for the Rags to Riches, the sequel series, because that means that we are now driving for Williams in F1 2011 as we have a look at the standings. Before we end today's episode, we are in 5th place, 159 points. We cannot be caught by Jenson Button or Vitaly Petrov, who hold that Lotus seat, which is good news there, which means that we will be driving for Williams. Unfortunately, we can't catch up to Force India, so it doesn't mean that we have a chance to get that Williams seat, that Force India seat either. So, Williams for next year. What can we do in that car? Last year, I believe, last time we did this series, I believe we got 5 race wins. And we've already got, if we have a look at my bio for my team, we already have, let's have a look. We already have 3 race wins. Yeah, 3 race wins in this series. We've also got 3 pole positions in this series as well. 5 podiums, 3 race wins, and 18 races, and we still have 1 race left to go. So let's see what we can do in that race. But that's it for today's episode of the Rags to Riches, the sequel. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for daily Formula 1 content, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. But I'll see you next time at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the finale of the F1 2010 season. But until then, it's goodbye from me.